Alright guys, I'm back with another episode of Let's Talk. So in this episode, if you guys read the description, you guys will know what we're talking about. So yeah, we're going to be talking about how to haggle, bargain. I like to call it negotiating. Now, I'd like to call it negotiating because bargaining, I don't want to offend people because again, I bargain. It's all the same stuff more or less, but negotiating sounds a little bit less cheapskatey, so to say. I don't know exactly how to word it, but let me throw my shoes out the way. Sorry, guys, I got shoes galore here. So I was actually asked this by a buddy of mine because he knows I do this. If I could do it for a living, to be honest with you, I don't think I'd make a lot of money, but I would do it if I had the choice. At least for like not make a living, but yes, like if I can make money off of it, by all means, that would be my very, very biggest commitment. Now, when it comes to haggling or bargaining, as some people call it, by the way, in case you guys are wondering what I'm looking at, it is my TV screen. You guys will notice that because the lights and everything change color. I'm pretty sure you guys will notice. I don't really know. But I'm just working on some work here. Excuse me. So a lot of people that know that I've bargained in the past, and the biggest question is, what have I bargained for? Now, me at my age, it's not like I'm going to bargain buying a house. The average 18-year-old will not, mainly because they cannot afford, but they will not buy a house themselves with their own money. Maybe they'll get a loan or something, and somehow they'll manage that. But I'm talking about like haggling for. I'm not talking about haggling like in the dollars. I don't know, unless you really can't afford stuff, which I'm not going to hate on people who can't, because at one point I was like that. You go out of the recessions in Toronto, guys. Canada's recessions are absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to blow my nose. I'm going to sneeze, is what I meant to say. So I'm going to blow my nose. My necklace is all tangled, so I guess. I hate these necklaces. I don't want to go Mr. T, but gold necklaces, when they're like this, Jesus Christ. You want to get one of those thick-ass necklaces that are like hella thick and you can't, like, they're tangle-free. Guaranteed. I got another one that my grandmother gave me before she died. I wear this one. I try to wear it every day. I'm scared of that because the clip on this one is good. Clip on this one is the one because this is I think the original chain that came with this. This one I got into a bit of a fight and it broke, so I slip it over like this. But I don't like wearing both at the same time because then they get tangled up and whatnot. But anyways, so when it comes to haggling or negotiating, when it's for like a very high-end priced item, like if I'm going to go to, let's say, a Rolex factory, not a Rolex factory, sorry, a Rolex retailer, somebody that sells Rolex watches, Cartier, Tag, if you want to go a little bit less expensive, like watches like that, even some Citizen, I don't know exactly how expensive Citizen can be when you're talking about the highest end prices, but they can be a little, higher than the average luxury watch price. Brand, sorry. When it comes to that, typically you're not going to go there walking in daily unless you got money. So, you're not gonna, even if you had money, I don't think you'd go there daily. But you guys get my point. You're not going to go there if you don't got money. Whether it's your money or not doesn't matter. You can have stolen money, whatever. So negotiating something like high-end retail like that, I don't know, but a car, this is where it gets really interesting. Because cars, this is something like jewelry goes the same way as cars. They can go from really cheap to really expensive. Same thing for jewelry. It can go to like $100, like my watch here, $100 watch. To I got a $500, $600 watch. I have a Gucci watch. Which this watch battery is defective. The part that the battery sits on is defective, does not transfer current throughout the whole watch properly, so it doesn't always go with the time. Like, it is currently not 9:00, that's what, 9:13, 9:12? It's 10:16, so it's roughly about an hour behind. Let's just even say an hour behind, which to me isn't a huge problem. I wear a watch not only for the time, also to, as a fashion statement, which most people these days, you want a nice looking watch. So the Gucci watch, again, I can haggle for this watch. I can, whatever I want. But at some point, because you're paying for a high-end priced item, they're gonna say, like, they're gonna call it quits. So in that case, pulling the old and the very, infamous, okay, yeah, fine, maybe I don't want to steal, and then expecting them to say, oh no, but we can work on something. Obviously, it's not gonna happen, and if it does, you're very lucky. Now, if it does, and you know why, don't say, oh yeah, it's because I'm sexy, or they dig me. No, maybe that is, but don't assume it's because you look good. Don't dress to impress, because if you're gonna bargain and you look like $1,000,000, either you're really freaking cheap, or you just went bankrupt within the last day. Just say, don't dress like a bum. Don't dress over luxurious. If that makes sense. You guys understand what I mean? Like dress. I'll show you guys. I'll give you guys an example. I got my school clothes here. Take them out. Sorry. So when it comes to me bargaining, typically where I like to bargain, this is the best, easiest place to haggle with people. And now when I say haggle, I mean like real, like you can bargain. A flea market. Flea markets, they don't get stuff retail, they get it wholesale. So even at a wholesaler, if you're getting a wholesale, they're gonna say instead of like $6, they'll give it to you half off. Try and negotiate it even 50 cents, because every dollar they make, they win 50 cents more than let's say the next retailer next door, or in their mind. Not exactly 50 cents, but they're winning a little bit more than actually sold to you. So they could have bought it, and I'm saying it like this because they could have bought it for $10. So that they say they're going to sell it to you for $3 for one. They bought one retail, like from the sailor buyer, for $10. They're losing out. So the lower and lower you go, obviously to that point they're going to get to the point where they're going to say no. So what you want to do, and this is not coming from the expert, by the way, because you guys are going to comment on that. Oh yeah, this is coming straight from the expert, guys. No, I'm not an expert haggler. I don't think there's a profession for that, other than cheapskatery. If that is a word or a phrase or term. Sorry, I'm going to make jeans. I'm so fidgety right now. But generally speaking, I've used these. Now, what I like to haggle on is car models. Car models, typically, the one thing you don't want to do out loud, in your mind, do it as much as you want. Insult their product. Don't fear putting a bit of negativity into it. Like, if you're going to say, okay, I'm paying, let's say, I'm going to watch it for an example. Let's say I know the battery's defective on all watches of Timex. And they say, okay, the watch looks nice. Don't, again, make sure they understand you want the product, but make sure that they don't think you will die for that product. Don't want the product, want it. You can, I don't know, I want to give you an example. Oh, pair of Giorgio Armani sunglasses. I really want these. You willing to go down in price? Now that they know you really want these, and this is more of an amateur thing. You can do this as a beginner. It'll come off as, less conceiving or deceiving, whatever the word is. If let's say you're going into like a prescription store, prescription sunglasses, eyeglasses place, and you say, okay, so I want these, and they're having a sale. Buy one, get one half off, or buy one, get one free, or whatever. And they're like, oh, these look nice, but I'm getting these. These aren't on that buy one, get one free, because buy one of these, get another one of these, get free. So what you can do in that case is say, okay, so now that I'm going to get this free, I'm paying X amount of dollars. Let's say it's $400. Because for the regular, like for a good pair of eyeglasses, you'll pay $600-800. Like easy. My mom's paid that, no doubt. They're good quality glasses though. I'm not only talking about the lenses and the way you see in terms of clarity, but these have snapped right here. You guys probably won't see this. I doubt it, but I'm really gonna hate on Chemo Optical for this. You guys don't see that, but basically the film that makes these shine and reflective, that it started to come off and it starts to chip off because it's a film. I don't know how they put it on, or maybe it's a spray type of thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a type of paint. It comes off. Now, to me, I couldn't care less. The glasses, the lenses, the main front part here, the face of the lens of the glasses, are what I'm more worried about. Not like these are, because I wear hair gel. The hair gel is so thick and so like consistent that it actually, I gotta put my other glasses on to see if you guys can see this. In order to, I actually like the way these look better. The easy getting you won't see because my camera won't focus that much. But it's got a matte finish, but it's textured. Matte usually doesn't have a texture unless you have something drying. So generally speaking, when it comes to sunglasses, for this example, I would have preferred to, haggle. But if you know the person well, try not to haggle. If you know them enough, when I say enough, you know what they're capable of doing in terms of, don't extort them. That's the one difference. Haggle, but don't extort. Like when you extort, you're basically metaphorically putting a gun to their head, saying, I want this. And you're very firm on that. So, that's what she said, I know. Make your sexual jokes. But generally speaking, when it comes to haggling, you don't want to make it seem like you're desperate for that product, like you're willing to dive into the pool and save the drowning kid for that product. You're not willing to skydive, basically, which is a term meaning you're not willing to go from high to down low. Metaphorically speaking, that is when you are then at your breaking point where they know they can haggle back. So when they haggle back, that's when you know that you're really at a tight end. So when Matt comes to the table, don't automatically assume that your days of haggling are over. Because what that means is now you know that they're negotiable and that you can negotiate with them. So don't be too consistent and keep going back and back and go again and again to haggle, because what ends up happening is when they see you're consistent, they say no off the bat because they say, okay, but either you really don't got the money, and in that case, I'm not going to sell it to you because I know you're going to keep coming back and you're not going to always pay retail. Or they're just going to say no right away. So paying in cash is another great thing. Because if you ever go to like a convenience store and they charge you the $1.25, that's a service fee that they have to pay. So they make you pay for it. So when you pay in cash, they don't have to pay that service fee as in addition to all their taxes that they have to pay to the government. So paying in cash and paying large amounts in cash tend to save them money. It burns a hole in your wallet in terms that you visually see you're spending it. If it's a credit card especially. Most people don't know, but in some stores you spend $1.25 as a service fee, but it's $1.50 for their fee. So they save you like a quarter, but at the end of the day though, guys, you really gotta get them tight there. So I got here a pair of I got here a pair of Louis Vuitton jeans. And I'm bringing these up as an example. I don't know if you guys see. Look at that. Very nice. No. My jeans are full. Shit. But I can go and haggle my brains out and say, no, but I want them. Again, desperation is the least of your worries. You don't want them to think you're desperate. Sorry, it's the most of your worries. If they think you're desperate, automatically desperation, most people when they say someone's desperate, they're going to say, so they're willing to go above and beyond. That's why I said don't skydive for your product. Don't do more than you need. In a way, it's kind of like extortion. Don't do more than you need to. Only do the necessary needing. So when it comes to, not that I know how to extort people, I'm just mentioning, but because you guys are asking yourself, how the hell does this guy know anything about extortion? But generally speaking, when it comes to haggling, a lot of people, and especially, this is the one thing I'm going to say, I love my mom, but hell to the no. If she was going to die and she had to bargain with God to spend one day, she wouldn't do it. And I'm saying this obviously, metaphorically speaking. Women don't like to haggle because they think that it degrades them not only as a gender, as a human, but as a being, as them. It degrades them personally. Because when we see people haggling, we automatically assume it's because they don't got enough money or they don't have money. So in the mind, when we say haggle and we say rich person, we automatically assume asshole, coming out as the equal. Now, if we're an average financial state, I don't know how you say it, like if you are in the average field of, like you make the average amount of income and whatnot, and you see the person bargaining, that's a different story to you because, it's like they make an average income, they're making, let's say, I don't know, 80 grand a year. Let's just say, which for one person, I'm saying for one person, not for a family. For one person, really isn't enough. It really isn't. Um, Now, coming in at, somebody, like, if you know they're big, a retailer I'm talking about. Typically, what I don't like to do is bargain in a retail store because typically what a retailer will do is just, they'll throw you under the bus, so to say. Okay, you take it or leave it. And they'll give you, and this is the one thing bargainers have a hard time with, unless you really know the person well enough that you know if they're willing to really go down in price, they don't do it. And that is to basically, they go and they're like, oh, I see you got this, but I don't really, they don't say directly they can't afford it, but they int around it. They tiptoe around the issue of money. They're like, that's a lot of money, or wow, it's that much. They want that person. Let's say I'm the salesperson, you're the one that's buying, or the potential buyer, the potential customer. And you say, wow, it's not much. And it can be anything. It can be I don't know, pack of gum. Instead of $1.25, it's $2.50. Wow, it's not much. I can go to such and such to get it for $1.50. Knowing the competition price is the biggest letdown for them. So knowing that, especially if you're talking to the manager, go to the person highest up in where you're at. Now, if you're in a flea market, you're fucked. You're not going higher than who the hell's in that booth, unless you're talking from someone that works for the manager of the booth to the manager of the booth. But other than that, you're done. When it comes, because you're not going to go, like I go to Dr. Flea, I'm not going to go to Dr. Flea and be like, brother, what's up? This guy won't bargain with me. Why? It's not going to happen. He'll always feel bad for you and, be like, let the guy go, you're 50 cents down. Or he'll drop it like a sack of potatoes, throw it into the bus, or whatever, you want to say. But the one thing I found that a lot of people will not ever, ever, ever say no to is a good deal. So what you have to do yourself, the customer, give them something that's worth their while. So say, okay, I'm not going to walk away. I will make a sale with you, but being the customer, knowing that, especially, and this is why I say flea market's the easiest way to bargain. I used to do this all the time. If you guys had if my mother was here, she could tell you right off the bat, yes. Honest to God, you know, go to the flea market, go and see a $60, $80 car model, and off the bat, my mind would be like, calculating such and such a price plus this price equals too much. Sorry. Bargain price plus lowered retail price of, let's say, a car model in this case. I don't know. It comes out to not as expensive, let's say. So, generally speaking, I think that people are going to be willing to go down in price if it's a little bit. Now, the one thing you want to do is, you don't want to do is you got the price down by a little bit even, and then go for the low shot price. The biggest amateur mistake people make, though, is assume. I'm going to say, so this is $500, $250. They're not going to go from $250 to, let's say, $425. That's $175, you know, that's a lot of money. $175 loss. So when you're not selling retail, especially, is the worst place you can do that. Low blows in price estimates or price negotiations are not a good thing. For a car, maybe, you know, kind of depends if you're working something out in terms of a payment plan. That's different. I'm talking more so about, you know, just anything. Like in a flea market, it's never going to be retail priced. And if it is, you can bash it down quite a bit. So what you want to do typically, and I'm repeating myself here, is when you see it's, let's say, one car model. I don't have a car model behind me. You know, one car model is, let's say, $60 on average, $40 to $60. Now, when they're selling out, typically they'll say, okay, you know they're selling out, and I'm talking about in the bargainer's mind, not the seller. You'll say, okay, so knowing that they're selling out, they're clearing out their inventory, maybe for this only, but whatever. Which my source did. That's why I don't buy them no more. Brand new. Know if it's either stolen. So know if it's clean or not. Because when it's not clean, obviously you got a little bit more of a risk that you take into buying this. Because knowing that it's not legitimately, you know, sourced, so to say, I'm going to say it straight out. Knowing that it's stolen helps you a lot. Now, it also drags you pretty deep down. But in the sense of if you're getting a phone from the flea market, chances are it could be stolen, it could be fake. So if it's fake, you won't be able to get it out of them. Unless really either they're lying and they're saying something that's real is fake to gain your trust, which lots of people have done. I've done it with Beats, guys. I had a guy in the flea market. It was a week thing. He had the permit to have a booth for the week. It was one of the booths that, you know, people they rent out with the permit for, you know, like X amount of weeks, not like a steady going thing. And this one week, typically the people that sell in that booth, they tend to actually have good prices. This guy sold what he said was real, fake, for $250 per Beats Studios, but they're fake. Now they came off as one hella good looking pair of fakes. Now, knowing things these days, they've got fake money, fake everything. It's shit. Literally fake shit. But they've got fake everything. So for this guy to say $250, I can go and save another $50, maybe $150 even. I don't remember how much they were, or how much they still are. and get yourself a pair of authentic pair of beats. So one thing that you have to negotiate with is first not the price, but the authenticity. Because if it's something that like the beats that you can go for sure, you go to Best Buy, boom, down pat, real. Whereas then you go to the flea market, but you're wanting something cheaper, don't automatically ask, are these real? And then even if they say yes, bash them down and be like, no, they're not. Or don't, or where you don't say it directly, but you're like, are these Ray-Bans? These are obviously fake, but are these Ray-Bans? No. They don't got the thing here. They don't say Ray-Ban on the side. Don't bash them down. That's why I say don't insult the product, like I said earlier. Because that basically brings their guard up. Now they're in that mood where they're in that state where like, okay, so now they're gonna try to negotiate with me. So one thing you don't want to do is get them to that point. Because that's the point where they're just really like laid back and chill. They're not really willing to negotiate. Everybody has a point to where they will break and they will negotiate something to gain your trust. Because especially if you know they're new, now this is more of an amateur thing. Again, one of the amateur moves. If you know the place is new, store, booth in the flea market, anywhere that's new, not a grocery store, not Walmart, nothing retail. Maybe retail, but I'm talking about like Winners and HomeSense that sells different types of stuff. Like Walmart, but I'm talking about like they sell designer stuff where you can haggle just a little bit. Guys, I did co-op there for over 8 months. I can tell you, lots of people have the balls to haggle in a retail store, so that they don't hold back. So the one thing that you want to do, and actually this is something the only way I bargained for a pair of boots. No bullshit. I'm pretty sure it's for a pair of boots. I know I bargained for some footwear. I don't remember what it was, but it was this winter the past. And if you have friends in that location, don't bargain, guys. It degrades you. Well, okay, not always, but just keep to not bargaining. I got these. Where's the other one? Pair of nubuck leather boots. So it's nubuck texture with leather as the uppers material. So very, very nice. It's got the shine of leather, but the consistency and texture of nubuck. Nice. So generally speaking, when it comes to actually, getting down and dirty, so to say, with negotiations, the one thing you don't want to do, and this is something a lot of people take for granted, is once the price goes down a bit, and this I got cut off earlier, don't say, okay, so now that I know the price is down, I'm going to go from, let's say, $2.50 to $50 when you're in a flea market is a lot of freaking money. Because typically, I'm assuming that when you're in the flea market, you don't got money. Like the odd person that's got a little more money than the average person in the flea market, they make more money because of the fact that they show resemblance to somebody who's got something. Now, one thing you don't want to do, and this is something that, again, some people make a mistake, I've done it, is hold off too much. Because if they see that you're eager, and then they also see that you hold off in terms of like you think too long, it's kind of like live or die. You wait too long, you dead. You make the right move, you have that chance of living. So this is how I think about it, because it's not the same thing at all. But in terms of negotiation, if I can negotiate something within the first 3 minutes, 3 minutes, guys, if you don't change their mind, odds are you're not going to get something. Because what happens with the mind, when I negotiate with somebody, I want to get them to say yes. Even if mentally they say no, as long as they say yes, even to gain my trust that they're going to at least do something, which most people will do. telling you now, most people will do it. Get them to say yes, because you use it to your advantage in a moment, which I'll talk about that in a moment. You get them to say yes, then pause. Let them think, okay, so this person's going to go with a low price. So I'm going to kind of counteract that, counter that price with something closer to my price. And then if they don't do that and they ask you what you're willing to pay for, because don't automatically insist that they go to offer. Because what that does, and this is something, again, I've done a mistake. What that does is, one, shows that you're not loyal to the bargain. If you want a bargain, don't be direct, but don't wait on it. Be firm, be fast. Two things women love. But anyways, so when it comes down to doing things like this, you really got to actually know what you're talking about. So if I'm talking about these shoes, I know for a fact, Timberland, they make very nice products. If I say I've never heard of them, they must be cheap. Automatically, they're going to say no, or they're going to convince you that they're not cheap, or at least that. It's because it's a foreign brand, which I've worked at a local computer store. Very smart move. Customer said, I've never heard of such and such company. It must not be popular. And the guy said, no, this is from such and such country. Obviously, it's not, he didn't say that, but I don't want to, offend anybody, because I do. So it's from this country. Let's say it's Samsung, for instance, Japanese company, Korean or whatever. It's an Asian company. So let's say I've never heard of Samsung. These days I'd be out of my mind, but I've never heard of Samsung, for instance. And I say, so they must be cheap. Then you're going to say no. It's just because they're not popular here. So what you don't want to do when you say that, and this is if you're going to counter bargain, so to say, if the clerk or the salesperson starts to haggle with you, that's not your one foot in the door. That's them testing you. So when they say, okay, so you know what, they move up close and they lower the voice, we can work something out. Again, this is where patience is key. Because when you're in a smaller local business, you have more of a tendency of them being willing to bargain with you, because of the fact that it's local. It's not like they've got several locations, and even if they do, maybe they have 2 or 3 or 5. If they have 5, okay. But when it comes down to bargaining, a lot of people think that because it's a local business, it's local, you don't want to, whatever. That's not an issue, because they bargain with their wholesalers all the time. And I can tell you from experience, listening in calls, I eavesdrop with them almost every day. I would eavesdrop. And that being said, when it comes down to bargaining, and he even said he's had customers come in, said, this is what I want to buy. This is what I'm willing to pay. Let's say this is money. Boom. Now, either you're going to go and get really upset because you're going to be like, okay, so you're going to come into my store, disrespect me by saying you want this in a demanding voice. At this point, you kind of say they're kind of going more towards extortion than bargaining, which you should never get the two mixed up. You're going to come to my location, my store, whatever, and say you want this. This is how much you're willing to pay for it, even though you clearly see the price. When you see the price, it's obviously going to give you time to think, what price can I counteract with? I see 500, and this is the general price. Can I say 475? If they take that, that's your bait. Don't hook it though, because once you hook the bait on the fish, you reel it in automatically. Don't, like when I say that and I say don't hook the bait, I mean, sorry, don't hook the fish, my bad. Hook the bait, not the fish. So when I say hook the bait, that's when you are confirmed. Okay, so they said yes to that. Don't get the fish. The fish is when you say yes. The fish is when you say yes. Don't say yes right away. Go a little bit deeper. Make it seem, because again, this happens usually when you get to know the person, talk to them. Get to know them a little bit. Go there a couple times if you can. Even if you don't buy something, sorry guys, at the end. Even if you don't buy anything, go there and haggle just enough that they'll see you're firm on your prices. Oh, I got way too many pairs of jeans. And of course, I noticed it the stupidest times. I'm going to hang up this shirt here. So, when it comes down to haggling with prices, bargaining, whatever you want to call it, the one mistake we all make, and I've made so many mistakes being an amateur. Again, not that I'm an expert, but you have a little more experience than the average. When it comes down to really knowing what you're talking about, know that they're not willing to bargain enough that you would get a good price. At least keep that in your mind. Keep that thought in the back of your mind that, okay, they're either going to bargain or they're not. It's a yes or a no situation. And this is the live or die, so to say. The bargain can live. It can live longer. It can die right away, though. So when you get the bait, I'm going to use terms like this because this is probably the easiest way that I can explain it. And this is based off of experience, guys. Nobody taught me this. I've watched videos. I watched videos earlier today. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Honesty is another thing, but I'll talk about that in just a minute. When they see desperation or you are really committed to wanting to lower the price, generally they assume, and the spice that don't look desperate, they assume that it's because you don't got the money. So either they're really nice and they say, okay, they lower it, even if they don't lower it by much, they still lower it. And, from there, they do what they do. Don't be an ass and don't always thank them. Don't kiss up. This is a big thing. So this is another one of the critical parts of this tutorial. If you are a kiss up and you kiss their ass, not literally, and I assume I mean not literally. I don't want people kissing another person's ass. And it's not for bargaining. If that's one of your fetishes, by all means, do what you do. But in reality here, I'm looking at it like I want to do something and I want to do it right the first time. Kissing up to the guy or the clerk or the salesperson, that ain't going to work all the time. Don't be a kiss up because what ends up happening is they see you're really gullible. Or at least it comes across as that, and then they think that you're stupid. And if you're a woman, this is going to work for you. This is where looks come into play. Don't dress hoary. Don't dress with too much, I guess cleavage? Not cleavage. But too much revealing clothing. Dress is just enough. Don't make it obvious. That's why I'm saying, don't dress too revealing. Because if you're going to dress like a prostitute, walk in there and ask for a $50 drink or $50 something for $25. You look like a whore. No. Then, if you go and offer, okay, so I'll go to bed with you. That's, you're raising the stakes here now. Because what ends up happening is And if you go to a retailer, you'll notice they do this thing where if they call the manager, that's one of the biggest hits. That's your bait on the hook. The fish is now coming closer and closer. I'm not talking about the manager. When the manager is talking to you, if the manager has a second thought, even if they are in denial, as long as you keep them thinking about it, they're thinking in the back of their mind that every manager is going to think this way. Okay, I know, and the same this in the mind. I know that it's not going to work, but I don't want to lose the customer. I don't want other customers, and don't make it seem like you want other customers to. Don't attract too much attention because then they just get turned off. When you work doing these types of things, scam artists. This is the difference. You could be a scam artist type of manager, or you could be a sale manager. So I'm going to sell you these jeans from such company. $20. Oh, but what about maybe 10? 10.25. If you automatically double offer, they know more of what you're capable to pay. But they also know that they will not go lower than that. Because if they go lower than that, usually, then you step in and you say, okay, you really, that's when you start to kiss up. But generally speaking, when you go lower, they expect you to really like kiss ass. Okay, I'll give you these for 50, and these for 30. Now, not thinking, that they just said for 20. They didn't say it for 20. Let's say it was just for 30 now. These for 50. These for 30. You add that together, that's $80. So you said for $100, which really is not a deal, since these are 50, they're losing on $20. Say, okay, I'll take that deal once you throw these in. So 3 pairs of pants in this situation. So they're going to either say yes or no. Once they say no, don't automatically leave, because then they're going to say that you're not absolutely committed to the bargain. Anyways, guys, it's getting really late. I'm going to finish up my project. Thank you so much for watching, though, guys. Watch part 2 to this episode. So episode 53, part 2, how to bargain, haggle, and negotiate like a pro. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Rate, subscribe, and comment. Thumbs up, like, and share. Peace.